Looking for an activity that is educational and uses few supplies? Why not make this easy and inexpensive needle case while teaching someone how to sew? This project can be stitched by hand, but using a sewing machine works best. I like to buy these pot holders in Ziploc bags from the dollar store, but you can also use leftover blocks or fabric scraps. You can find a copy of this supply list below. Felt or batting will be used to hold your needles and pins. If you're not sure the size to cut, make a paper pattern first and then pin that to the felt or to the batting and cut it out. Place your felt on your pot holder, pin in place. You might want to add this pocket for your scissors and thread. You get to decide where your baggie will go. This is where I'll stitch. I can draw a line there, or I can use a piece of tape as a guide. Pin your bag in place on that line where you'll sew. Use a matching thread if you want to hide your stitches. Using a contrasting color will make your stitches stand out. Lock your stitches by going in reverse and then forward. Sew down the line, and when you get to the end, lock your stitches again. You can trim off the excess here or leave as is. If you have a longer baggie, you most definitely will want to trim off that excess. If sewing by hand, there's a lot of layers that you'll be sewing through, so make sure that you have a heavy-duty needle. Hide your knot between the layers. I'm going to go back to catch this little extra here. Slide over to where I left off and stitch. Remove the pins as you move forward. Hide your knot behind the felt. And then trim the excess. For the enclosure, you can sew on a button or make use of a fun pin. For those of you who would like a more unique needle case, try adding some trims. Or how about extras such as this ribbon to hold the thread? Think about adding more than one pocket, or you might like to try recycling the pocket off of an old shirt. If you decide to use quilt squares rather than pot holders, you'll need to cut a back the same size as your square and batting about 1/2 inch smaller so as to avoid bulky seams. Center the batting on the back of your quilt square and then put right sides together. Stitch a 1/4 inch seam all the way around, leaving about a 2 to 3 inch opening for turning. Clip the corners and turn inside out. After pressing, you can hand stitch this opening shut and then add the insides. If you'd like a larger needle case, start with the larger block. Think about the size of the Ziploc bags that you'd like to use as pockets. Hope you decide to put together a needle case and teach someone you know how to sew. Check out our small projects section at learnhowtoquilt.com for more easy hand and machine sewing ideas. Happy sewing! Thanks for visiting learnhowtoquilt.com.